Hi. Real quick, right before we get into the video, I just want to let you guys know that I'm trying to get to 10K, because once I get to 10K, I have an announcement I'm going to make. I will not be doing the thing at 10K, but I will be announcing the thing at 10K. And you guys want it, trust me. If you've watched, I won't give away, I won't spoil it, one of my bigger videos, one of my viral videos, you'll want it. So if at any point you want to subscribe in this video or any of my others, then please press subscribe so that I can get to my goal. I usually don't care for this kind of stuff, but I thought this as a good opportunity. Do you want to meet my dragon? This is Sapphire. She is an angel, and I love her, and I don't know why I got her. But there's a fantasy channel. I love fantasy, and she's a fantasy little baby. I love her. Subscribe. She says subscribe. Anyways, that was it. Just want to let you guys know. Now let's get into the video. Hey guys, welcome to Purgatory. And today, in true Purgatory fashion, we are talking about how to be kind with this. Not mentally well Astarion fans. Some people can like characters normally, and some can't. And some are a little weird in the way that they like their characters, but sometimes, I'm sure if you're into Astarion, you've heard the recent Astarion drama going down, at least on Twitter, if you're on Twitter or Tumblr, about Neil Newbin and what he said about his feelings on Ascended Astarion, which was essentially nothing. And some mentally unhinged person's response. And look, I really don't want to say anything mean or dog on them, even though the things that they were saying were genuinely unhinged and concerning, genuinely. But I don't know what caused them to say those things, and I don't think they were necessarily attacking anyone. So I don't want to say anything mean, but I don't think it's mean to call it unhinged and unhealthy. And it just seems to be common that Ascended Astarion fans are just a little bit unhinged. And I thought that I would go over a little bit of the Ascended Astarion fans and the unhinged things that they say. So let's do it.
Still, it is good to see them, and good for them to see us, side by side, flourishing. We do turn every head the moment we walk into a room, and rightly so. I may have power, but it would be nothing without you. You complete me, and together we are unstoppable. So, heavens help the fool that tries to get in our way. No, I can see more than enough from here. But you should go. Mingle, chat, laugh. Have fun, my love. And if our friends drop any interesting secrets, bring them right back to me. Until then, I'll be here. But don't fret. I will be watching. I am always watching.
That was just a small clip from the epilogue in Baldur's Gate 3 now that they just recently released. But there are many more examples of Ascended Astarion being unhinged, unhealthy, crazy, obsessed, just overall not a good guy. Which is fine, as long as you know that he's not a good guy. Unfortunately, the majority of Ascended Astarion fans do not see that. I liked everything in general, but it's a little disappointing that we don't have any kiss. Still, Astarion does not treat us the way Cazador treated him. And if you are on the same wave, then everything is fine. If you want freedom, then you can play out the drama. But this is more the dynamics of a golden cage than a tool slave. He really wants you to live your best life and is apparently extremely obsessed with you. I love when he says he's watching. Also, a moment about you completed me and power was nothing without you, 10 out of 10. Astarion does not treat us the way Cazador treated him. Look, he's not flaying us and torturing us and then healing us so he can torture us again. So he's not treating us the same way Cazador treated him. Therefore, he's a good guy and he loves you. If you are on the same wave, then everything is fine. If you completely agree with him and everything that he says and does and is completely fine with just being his slave, then everything will be fine. Also, I cannot tell you how much I adore that freedom is in quotations. It really proves my point. This is more the dynamics of a golden cage than a tool slave. Do I need to go into this one? You're not a tool slave. He's just locking you in a golden cage. So everything's fine. He's locking you in a cage, but it's golden. So he clearly cares about you. He's obsessed with you, which is apparently good and healthy and fine. And so he's giving you like a perfect golden cage because you can't leave him. You don't have any freedom. You must stay because he's obsessed with you. But look, it's golden though. He really wants you to live your best life. With him, under his rule, and your best life is what he tells you your best life is. Like, I know what you need. I know what you want. You need to trust me. I understand more than you do what you need and what you want. So you just need to take my word and obey me. And is apparently extremely obsessed with you. I love when he says he's watching. Obsession is not healthy. Obsession is not good. Obsession is not cute. The fact that I have to explain this is quite worrying, but I understand. Relationships nowadays are basically selfish and self-serving. People are so lonely and uncomfortable with the thought of being left alone that they seek out constant friendships, constant relationships. That's why dating culture is a thing. And it comes from the privilege of comfortability. You are privileged enough to be comfortable, to have that comfortable bubble. And once you realize that you have that comfortability, you're like, why would I ever leave it? Why would I ever leave my bubble of comfortability if I can have it forever? Even if outside of it, people don't have that same privilege and are suffering and all that different kind of stuff, I still have my bubble of comfortability. And when you're so used to comfortability, you will do anything to avoid the uncomfortable, such as being left alone, such as not having friends for a while or not having a partner for a while. You can't sit by yourself in silence. You always need someone there. So these relationships, just in general, are less of a, I'm just a person living my life, and I like this person. I've talked to this person like some, and I like them. I think I'd like to spend some of my time, the time that I'm spending as a human on this earth, I'd like to spend some of that time with this person because I like them. It becomes less of that and more of a, I need your attention because I can't be left alone. That's why people run into dating, search for people to date constantly, and run into marriage so often, so easily, and then end up getting divorced because the other person had that exact same view of, I'm not really here because I necessarily enjoy being around you as a person, but that you give me attention, you make me feel wanted. And that's why people love the idea of obsession. That's why people love, I don't know how you say it, yandere? Yandere? I don't know how to say it. That's why that's so big. It has to do with obsession. That entire premise is just obsession, and people eat it up. Why? Because they can't stand being alone, and they just want someone obsessed with them wholeheartedly. Like, just all your attention is on me constantly. You're not looking at anyone else, because then they have someone to be constantly there with them, and they don't have to worry about ever being alone. That's the thing, the fear of being alone. I know a lot of people play their tabs like free spirits, hiring and firing companions and love interests, running in all directions and never being tied down. For them, this sucks, but then again, why in the hell do they consent to a lifelong bond with an immortal in the first place? For those that have no intention of leaving, or like the idea of being able to unleash their vampire husband on someone for making them cry, Astarion is a great find. I personally find it comforting that his love is a guaranteed constant in my tab's life. Also, a further thought on why this scene is actually interesting, Cazador's writing said that when he tried to seek out his old friends, his master brutally murdered them in front of him to teach Cazador that he had no right to his old life. Clearly none of Cazador's spawns were allowed to find their families or friends either, but Astarion keeps telling you to go have fun with everyone. For those that thought up their own tab's backstories, you can imagine she's had a couple of girls' nights with her old buddies while he waits patiently for the call to get you from the bar. It's the constant comparing him to Cazador, his old master, to defend him and his actions and what he does. And just because he doesn't do the exact same things or the as bad of things as another abuser or the person that abused him, doesn't mean that he's not an abuser. This comment is fantastic to prove my point. I personally find it comforting that his love is a guaranteed constant in my tab's life. It is comforting, the privilege of comfort, it is comforting to know that they will forever have someone that will never ever leave them. They want that ride or die. No matter what you do, I will never leave because I love you so much. But that's the thing. Is it love, though, if you don't want the best for that person? Because how could you say that being a ride or die for someone, that being with them no matter what they do, no matter what they say, it doesn't matter, I'm going to be here forever? How can that be love? How can that be the best for that person? They will never improve. They'll never become a better person because we can always become better. You're just saying, I'm going to be here no matter what. Even if you're a bad person, if you're a horrible person, doesn't matter. I'm here. I'm your ride or die. I'm going to be here forever. So even if you become like a bad or harmful person, I'm going to be here and I'm going to be on your side. We're just becoming evil. And yeah, fantasy can be great for escapism. You're like, well, I know that this is unhealthy for me to want, this like obsession. That's unhealthy. That's not right. So I'm going to get it through fantasy while I work on my issues with a therapist or something, because I know that this is not right and I don't want it in real life. I'm just going to use this fantasy game as escapism, as a way to treat that in me without actually seeking it in real life harmfully. But that's the thing. All the Ascended Astarion fans are defending him, saying that, he does love you. Look, he loves you because he put you in a golden cage instead of making you a slave. My love, this person is literally saying, Astarion allows you to have friends and family. Allows you to have friends and family. Therefore, he's not an abuser because his abuser didn't let him. But he's letting you, so clearly he's better, so clearly he's not an abuser. That's not how that works. That's like when your parents severely, like mentally and emotionally abuse you and neglect you. And then they say, well, my parents used to beat me, so be glad that I don't do that. I'm a better parent. You should be more appreciative of how much better I'm a parent than my parents who beat me. It's like, whoa, there's a lot to unpack there. Like, yeah, you understand where they're coming from and why they're doing these things now, but it doesn't excuse it. That I am always watching reminds me of when she caught him staring at her and he was embarrassed. Now he gets to watch and stare. Sounds like they've been having problems with his jealousy, but half the camp was in love with her. And he's been giving masquerade balls, etc. for powerful cutthroat types. He would have to keep a serious eye on her just for safety. Good to see that he's committed to that. Kind of see it like the masquerade ball in Labyrinth. Oh, not to mention a Labyrinth with like the, what was it, like 16-year-old and like 300,000 million-year-old? Let's get this out of the way. Jealousy and possessiveness is not good or healthy. You do not want that. It's like people thinking that they want actual obsession. But no, you don't. Promise you don't. Have you ever been stalked? That's obsession, babes. That's obsession, babe. And you will not like it because it's not consensual. Obsession is not love. It's obsession. That's why they're different words. They're different things. If you're jealous, that means that you're possessive. Possessive means that they're like, you're mine. That's not good. You are not theirs. They do not own you. You are your own person living your life. Then you found another person. You're like, I like them. That's cool. You started hanging around with them for a certain period of time. You're like, you know what? I like you so much. I might want you to be in my life forever and live with me. Just be with me all the time. You know what I mean? Let's get married. Let's be together forever. Not that they own you, that you are theirs and they get to decide things for you. They get to control your life. You are theirs. It's like thinking you want obsession and possession, but then they'll do something like say, you can't wear that out tonight, or no, you can't talk to your friends or family, and you're like, why are you controlling me? Oh my God. My loves! And also, he did not say I'm always watching in any kind of cutesy way. It was supposed to be threatening. He is always watching. He always has an eye on her. He will not lift his gaze from her because he's going to be watching her. Because he owns her. Because she's his. And he's possessive. And she's his slave. Like, she's literally his slave. I'm sorry if you don't like that, but it's genuinely true. In every way. Being kind to your slave does not mean that they are not still a slave. What I like about this is it feeds into the vampire bride theory. Astarion made Tav into a bride instead of a regular spawn. If Tav was a run-of-the-mill spawn, Astarion could order her to be quiet and not speak of freedom. Just because he's not doing some abusive things, just because he's not the worst person in the world, does not mean that he's not still abusive. And now one last one to kick this all off. He says consort, not spawn. Even though he's being an asshole, he actually loves you, but he's cruel because he's scared as shit inside to lose the only thing that's brought him happiness in 200 years. Sure, it's toxic as fuck, but also you're being cruel by breaking that trust you've worked hard to gain while playing the game. Seriously, it reminds me of people who divorce right after the baby being born only because they feel trapped into a commitment relationship. He actually loves you because he said consort instead of spawn? How can I not see this? That takes away everything that he's done. Every bad thing, every not good thing that he's done. This takes away... I can't believe I didn't see it sooner. Because he's scared as shit inside to lose the only thing that's brought him happiness in 200 years. They admit that it's toxic. 'Cause it is. It's not an excuse. That's just manipulation, obsession, unhealthiness in general. Sure, it's toxic, but also you're being cruel by breaking that trust you've worked hard to gain while playing the game. Astarion is not a good person. He is a very, very bad person if your morals have anything to do with things like caring for people, not wanting innocents to die. If your morals have to do with anything like that, Ascended Astarion is not a good person. He's inherently selfish and self-serving and obsessed and manipulating, and I'm not saying I don't get it, that it doesn't make sense with his character and just who he is. But that's not an excuse. Wanting to break off the relationship with him when previously he was one way and now he is completely different and like his old master, because he is completely and entirely valid, and I'd do the same. It is not cruel to see that he became cruel and crazy and obsessed and even more manipulating and want to break it off. 'Cause he's crazy. That's not cruel. That is healthy. Are we calling cruelness healthy now? Well, yes. Neil Newbin, the man who voices Astarion, often does lives of him playing the game. Recently, someone said something in his live about liking Ascended Astarion or something of that like. Neil didn't really like this, but he didn't show it in any kind of malicious way. It was just more like a
bombastic side eye. Criminal, offensive side eye. Do you understand?
Because he gets it. He knows Ascended Astarion is not a good guy. But someone did not like this. And they made, I believe, a Tumblr post about it, and we will not be reading the entire thing because it is hella long, but we will be reading some parts of it. Imagine being an actor who acts different roles, good or evil, who does it beautifully and deserves all the praise and awards and respect in the world for it, who also seems like a wonderful human being in real life, supportive of many beautiful causes and charities, but then doing something like this. I don't know what happened there. Maybe it's some kind of nightmare and I will wake up. Or maybe he was tired since he's overworking. But regardless, it's just the exact same as what the writer did. Punishing someone for liking something different. Something they both have worked to bring to life. Except, well, the writer is barely out of her teenager years. Neil is a grown-up adult man who should know better. He's perfectly entitled to say Ascended Astarion isn't for him. We all have different tastes. But he should still be professional and detached about it. Giving the judging stare to those who like Ascended is none of that. It's super okay, and it empowers people to continue to bully us. People like you who take his reaction and use it to belittle others, feeling justified and excused for this type of behavior. Not only, it's actually an offense to your own acting skills, even since you're the one who played him and should be proud of every aspect of the character you played. So what, those actors who played evil roles in movies and such should now go and judge those who like their evil characters? It's also an offense to those who wrote that part of the story. And it's in a way quite mean towards those in the fandom who actually liked that path. Hells, he really should know better than this. And this is what pains me the most. There were a million ways to respond to that request. Acting the part. Acting what an actor does. Making a silly joke about it. Play along. Just recite any line, whatever you want. Literally anything but judgment would have worked fine. And the fact it happened in his stream. Neil Newbin is his own person. Yes, he's an actor. Yes, there has to be a level of professionalism when he's doing live streams talking about his job. But he is still his own person with his own thoughts, feelings, and emotions. Why should he not be able to express those because you don't agree? Being an actor isn't a full-time job. When you're not on the clock, you are your own person with your own thoughts and feelings and emotions. Why should he have to pretend to feel a certain way or lie or act when he's not on the clock? Why can he not just say, yeah, I don't like Ascended Astarion, or yes, Ascended Astarion's evil? Why can't he say that? Does he have to be on the clock 24/7? Are you guys going to be paying him for that? Saying he can't feel these things or express these things is just dehumanizing. And he didn't even do anything. You guys blew this way out of proportion. This person and everyone who agrees. Y'all blew this way out of proportion. He did barely anything. Barely like a look. And y'all blew this out of the water. He showed a hint of an opinion or a feeling that didn't agree with yours. And you freaked out about it. Literally, it's not that deep. You're making me say this, the person that always is talking about how things are that deep. Things really are that deep. You're making me say this, but it's not that deep. He never said that you couldn't like him. He never demeaned anyone that does. He just gave a side eye because Ascended Astarion's not a good person, and so to think that he is side eye worthy. Saying that giving a judging stare to those that like Ascended Astarion is empowering people to continue to bully them is an insane take. You're like trying to micromanage his reactions and the things that he says about the things that you enjoy. That's exactly what you're doing and saying. You're like, no. If he doesn't agree with me, then he can't say anything about it. He can't have any reaction about it. He can feel that way, but he can't say anything about it. Which is insane! And no one said anywhere that anyone, including him, is not proud about it. You can acknowledge that a character is evil, is bad, is a no person, and still like the character and be proud of the character. There's nothing wrong with liking an evil character or a bad character. The problem comes from liking them as a person, not because of how they're written or how their character is, their character development, or whatever you want to call it. Liking that character is fine. It's genuinely thinking that this harmful character as a person is actually good, or romanticizing them or sexualizing them as if they're not a bad person. That's where the issue comes in. The issue comes in when you've deluded yourself and are trying to delude others into thinking that this bad is good. You can be proud in your acting and in the character and still acknowledge that the character is bad. I don't think there's anything wrong with being a thinking, feeling human person and seeing the character whose entire point is that they're evil and bad being romanticized and sexualized and being like, hey, think you missed the point. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and that's not even what he did. He just side-eyed you. Shouldn't this be more of a moment where you sit back and you think, why do I actually like this character? Why do I actually think that he's a good person? There's a lot of people telling me that he isn't, and they're very passionate about this. Maybe I should think about why I like him and what makes him good and bad, and then why those things equal to good or bad in my opinion, rather than an immediate jump to defense. But we know how people are. Like evil characters all you want. I like evil characters. There's nothing bad with liking these villainous characters as characters. Just make sure that you don't like them as the people that they are, when the people that they are abusers, obsessors, enslavers. And if you do, just think about why that is. Consider therapy, mayhaps. But that was today's video of, oh my gosh, I hate it here. Why do I have to live here? Should I consider not living here? Can I leave? What can I do about this? But that was my cue. I will leave you to go cry by yourself because I cry enough. I don't have the energy for tonight. That was not a challenge. If you made it all the way to this part of the video, comment a vampire emoji and a crying emoji. Because we're talking about vampires and we're crying, right? You're crying, right? If you like this video, press the like button. If you didn't like this video, press the like button because the dislike button doesn't exist. Subscribe if you want because I talk about this stuff all the time. I may be getting into more serious stuff, but I'm not going to be stopping the cringe. I will never be stopping the cringe. The cringe corner. I should make a little segment called the cringe corner. The cringe corner central. Triple C. And ring the bell if you want to hear more. If you want. But do remember to be a good person and not a bad one, because it is the one rule of this kingdom, the one law of this kingdom. It's really not that hard. And remember that I will not see you, but you will see me next time, because once again, the trillionth time, that's how videos work. It really hasn't been that many times.